Alright guys, should all have with you your characters, however many you cut out, however many you decided to go with, your construction paper with your background already glued in, and at least 3 strips of the white construction paper that I left with you guys. Now I made one change. I put some lines on the back of the construction paper I'm using just so there'll be that contrast when I'm showing you guys how you need to put your pieces together. So first off, you need your pieces. Now I cut out 3 different pieces because a lot of you cut yours out in different ways. Some people just cut theirs out in a circle all around their character. Some people cut theirs out exactly around their character, and some people left a little tab on the bottom of their character, just like this. Now it doesn't matter which way you did it. I'm going to show you how to do all 3 ways, and also one of them we're going to use with glue. We'll glue it down, and another will go with tape, just depending on what you guys have at home. So you need to get your characters, your construction paper, your strips of construction paper, and either glue or tape. And a pair of scissors might not help, or might not hurt either. So go ahead and get your things all together, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put this together. Alright, I'm going to start first with a character that I just cut out kind of around. So it's not exactly cut out, but it's cut pretty close to the edges. First thing you need to do to put your character down is you need to fold a little bit down like this. Now I'll move it a little closer so we can see it. We're going to fold it an edge up on the bottom. It's almost like you're making a foot for your character. It's going to fold over like that. So you can see from the end, and I'm going to actually pause this and take pictures at each point. But you're going to fold it over almost like it's a foot for your character. Imagine it just being able to stand up on that little bottom ledge. Alright, after you've gotten the ledge folded down, and again it's almost like a little foot, you just fold it at the very bottom of your character. It doesn't matter if a little bit of your character is in that fold, because if you keep it going forward you'll still be able to see it. So I'm going to show you with glue first. So you have a character, slip is folded down like this. It's making a little ledge. That's how we're going to attach it. Now if you're using glue, you're going to have to be very careful about how much glue you put down. If you use too much glue, it's just going to get everywhere and it's going to take a very long time to dry. You want to use a very small amount of glue so it doesn't get anywhere except exactly on the foot. So I'm just going to put a couple of very small dots of glue on the bottom of my character, and then I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to rub that glue around just to make it coat that bottom surface. Now rub the glue off of your fingers so when you touch your paper again it doesn't get the glue everywhere. Now once you have put a little bit of glue on that bottom foot almost of your character, you're going to figure out where you want to put it on your board. Now with this guy, I'm going to put him like right over here in front of the house. Now you have to make sure when you put your character down that you're not putting them on a big slant. They have to be pretty much straight with the back edge. So I'm going to put this character down just like so. Now I'm real careful not to move it around too much because I don't want the glue to get everywhere. When you put that down, don't scoot it all around, because when you do, if you do, when you close it, it might accidentally glue the top down. So you don't want the glue to get anywhere except where the surface is making contact. So I put my lip down. I'm kind of pressing it down to make sure the glue's got a good hold. And I'm going to let that dry for a couple minutes. I'm going to pause or actually I'll just stop. I have to let this dry for a minute. So if you're watching this and you glue a couple of your characters down, get the bases glued down and then just take a break. Go get some water, go play outside or something, and let the glue dry. Alright guys, I've given time for this guy to dry, so I can go ahead and fold it flat over towards the front. Now you have to do this to be able to measure cutting the flap that's actually going to move your character. So the next thing you need to do is get a piece of your construction paper. Now you guys got some pretty heavy duty, heavy gauge construction paper. This paper that I have here at home is actually pretty flimsy, so I have to actually get something else other than these strips that I've cut, because it's not going to be strong enough to push my character over. So I'm going to use a different material. Which, you know, I hate to waste things. You know I like to recycle and reuse. I'm just going to reuse a piece of this junk mail. Really overdue for an oil change? No, actually I'm not, but I'm just going to use this paper. So I'm going to cut a little strip off, because the paper that I have here at home is just entirely too flimsy. So, pretend like this is a strip just like you have. Your first step for putting the tab on the back that's going to make your character pop up and down is folding over an end just like that. So you can see I just folded it over. It's almost like an L. So you fold over an end of your piece just like an L. Now this is where it gets a little complicated. If you fold your character flat down, you have to take that paper that you just made an L out of, and you're going to push it on top of your character all the way to the back crease of your paper. So the L goes right here all the way to the back crease. You need to take a pencil or a crayon or whatever you have, and you're going to mark right exactly where the bottom of your character is on your strip of paper. Now, after you mark where your character is, you're going to cut it below the line. You're not going to cut it on the line, you're going to cut it below the line. So you cut it below the line because the line is actually where you have to make your fold. So you have to fold it right on the line. Now I think I'm holding this right, guys. You see the line that I made for the bottom of my character, and I folded it right on the line. So it looks almost like a square U from the end. It's just like this, because this is the piece that we're going to put on the back of our character that's going to make it pop up and down when we open and close our card. Now you can double check to make sure it's the right size. Put it at the bottom and just check to make sure it's the right length. If it's too short, it's not going to push your character all the way down. If it's too long, this will get all bent when you close it, and it's just not going to work properly. So make sure your piece is the right size just by putting it in at the bottom. Make sure it's the right length, okay? So now, with your glue, same thing as the bottom. You don't want to use too much glue because it'll get everywhere. You just use a small amount of glue. So you take a very small dot of glue on each piece of that strip, on the folded over ends of the strip. See? I've got a tiny little dot of glue there, A tiny little dot of glue there. Now if you don't want to use your fingers for spreading around the glue, you can cut like a little piece of paper or something else and use it to spread that glue around. So make sure you get the glue over that whole surface. So see, I have my little dot of glue. I don't want to use too much because it'll get everywhere. So I go ahead and I spread it all over that little flap because we don't want it getting elsewhere. Okay? So when you get that flap done, fold your character back over like this. Now, you're going to take that flap, or take your strip, and about the middle of your character. So see, this is about the middle of my character piece. So at about the middle of your character, you want to put that flap down. Just like that. Now, here's where if you're using glue, you're going to pause this video and let that dry just a little bit. Now of course I had already put mine on the top, but I can press pause on the recording and let this dry after I'm done. So you want to let that dry a little bit, and when it's dry, you're going to fold your character over, or stand it back up, and you notice from the end, see how that's off the bottom of the construction paper? It is not all the way down on the bottom. It has to be up a little bit or it will not work. So you have that flap on the back. You're going to stand your back up and you're going to let that attach. Sorry, I'm trying to do this without blocking your view. You're going to press that back side up against your background so it comes together like that. Now when that glue dries, it'll actually push your character up and pull it over. So I'm going to hit pause again. Or actually, I'm just going to stop the video. I've got to let mine dry a little bit. If you did the same thing, you need to let yours dry a little bit too before you go on to the next character. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll finish it up in just a second. Alright guys, I let my piece dry, and as you can see, and I'll hold it up so you can see from the edge, when that tab or that strip of paper dries, it pushes your character over and also pops it back up when you open so you can see from the front. You close it, it pushes down, open, pulls them up. If this isn't the right size though, it's not going to push and pull it right. So when you make your tabs in the back, you have to make sure that you're getting them the right size. So now I'm going to show you an example of taping one down. So I'm going to use a Monster High character, and it's also a different example in that I left a little tab on the bottom of this one, okay? Because some people cut it out with a tab. So when I had this little tab, I'm going to fold it backwards. It's just going to function as more or less the foot of your character, just like the other one. So you can see there, I just folded the tab, or that little tab backwards. That little bit I left on there, backwards. And it's going to work the same way, just like a foot for my character. So I can put my character in around wherever I would like, and this is going to work kind of like the foot. Alright, so with your tape, you can get some tape. Now you won't need a very big piece of tape, but it has to be just a little bit bigger than the tab that you have for standing up your character. So we have the tab on the bottom, the character. Now, put the tape on like this. You want the sticky side down. So when you put this down, the sticky side is actually facing down like that. So you have your tape, sticky side down. You're going to decide where you want this character. So I'm going to put this character over here on the end. So this is our, I think you ladies told me this was Cleo from Monster High. I don't know her, but she is pretty cool. So we're going to put Miss Cleo over here. Now again, the same way with the first character, you have to make sure you get it straight with the back side, because if you have it on a slant, our tabs to push it up and pull it back down are not going to work right, okay? So have it straight with the back edge. So I'm going to put this character over here on the edge, far away from this weird guy with the special Halloween platter. So have my foot down and push the tape down, so it's just like it's holding the character down to the paper. So I've got the foot down. Now again, like I told you guys, the paper that I have at home is way too flimsy to work for the back. The stuff that you guys got is much, much heavier duty than the paper, the white construction paper that I had at home, because I forgot to bring some of the heavy duty strips out. So again, I'm recycling here. I'm cutting apart my Valvoline offer here, because you know I'm not overdue for an oil change. I'm cutting a little strip off. So, of course, the pieces that you guys have are white and they're pretty long. The same thing with the first one. You need to fold a little L. So you're folding down a little bit on one end, so it's like an L. Just like this. Now, just like we did the first one, you have to put your character over flat so you can measure this. Now, on this one, because the tab goes to the back, we're measuring to wherever your character folds over. So I'm making this little line right there, because that's where Chloe, right? That's right where she folds over, right down here. So you flatten it down to the bottom. You take your piece with an L and you put it all the way into the back. You push it all the way till it hits the back of that, to the back of your background, right underneath. You're going to mark also right where your character folds at the paper. So you have a mark that shows where your character folds over, but you're going to cut below that mark so you have enough left over to fold up just like this. Now, if you have trouble folding up where that crease is, use your scissors or anything else that you have, and if you hold it on that line, now I'm going to use my fancy little hole punch here, also a ruler. If you hold something right on that line, you can just fold it up right like that, and it will ensure that your fold is right on the mark you made. So we have a mark made on there to show us where to fold it, because we have to make sure it's the right length. So we have it. I set it down just to check it. See, the back is all the way in and my front crease is right there at the bottom. Okay, so now we are almost ready to get tape to hold this guy down, or hold this lady up, and then to push her back down. So, gonna get a little piece of tape. So I've got my tape. I'm gonna pull a little bit extra out so I can use my scissors to trim the tape. You don't need a big piece of tape, it just needs to be a little bit bigger than the piece you folded over. So I've got my piece of tape here. Now, I'm holding this with the sticky side down. Getting my piece that I made here, it's going to look, just like the other one, a square U. You're going to put your tape on there just like this. So the sticky side is right here. This is the sticky side on this side. You put one on one side, you're going to do the same to this side. So you have your tape again. Cut a little piece of tape off. It just has to be bigger than the tab. It doesn't have to be very big at all. So you have your tape off. You can do the same thing again. Sticky side down. You put it right on that tab. And again, so the sticky side is here and here. And when we put it up behind our character, it's going to stick, one side will stick to your character, the other side will stick to the back of your background. Alright, so I folded my character down, and I'm going to find about the middle of my character. It's about right there. Now she's kind of small on the bottom because I cut out to fit the character. So I'm going to put it up a little bit where there's enough area. So I put the tape down on the back of my character. So see, it's kind of like so. I've got it right in the middle of my character, and I attached it to the character first because then I'm going to attach it to the background. So you attach to your character right about in the middle, just like so. Then when you stand your character up, we're going to attach to the background just like that. Now, because this is tape, we don't have to pause to let this dry, right? It's already on there. So you can see, just like our first example, it stands up, and then it pushes your character down. So you have it up. When you close the paper, it pushes your character down. I'm going to make a little adjustment on mine because it's pushing her just a little too far over. So you have it up. You might have to play with where your tabs fall on your characters, guys. So when you get that tab down, push it flat to make that crease right. Then you'll have it standing your character up. So it pulls it up and pushes it down. Pull it up, push it down. And that is how you put your characters on there. So I'm going to have to stick something in there to get this to hold open. I'm going to put this glue right there to hold that open, and you can see how the two characters are on there. Now, the third character I cut out as an example, I'm just going to show you guys. I won't actually stick him in there in the middle because it's getting close to 3 o'clock, guys, and I have to get this up there for you to have your instructions. The same as your other characters, if you have it cut out exactly like this one is, you're just going to fold up a little on the bottom to essentially work as a foot. Okay? So you fold it up on the bottom just like that. It's almost like a foot. You find out where you want your character to go. You either glue it or tape it. Follow the same directions that I did with my other characters. Now, of course, you can put as many characters on your piece as you want. You can glue some flat around on the foreground, Or you can add pieces to your background. Like you could put these guys, you could glue them flat along the background or tape them down. If I wanted to have that guy right there, I could put him up right there in front of the house or bring him out as a pop-up character. So, of course guys, you know, you can back this up, pause, use it at your discretion. You can have it go as fast or as slow as you want. Press pause at any time and back up a little bit if you're not sure about the instructions. So that is how we put our pop-up pieces together. After you do a couple, you can put more in there if you want, or you can leave it at 2. You can add characters. You could even go on the internet and find a couple more characters and print them out and color them to put them in your pop-up piece. But that is how we make our pop-up pieces. So I will see you all on Monday. Good luck putting your pieces together. That's it for Mr. C's office. See you guys.